So you've rightly come to your senses and realized Nikon is the future, and you're just debating now, which camera do I get? Z6III? Z8? Is the Z9 worth it? You'd be surprised how unworth it is. Today we talk about the best Nikon cameras for your Nikon future. I'm still in the shot.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the Nikon Z6III with that Helios 58mm Tony 2 stalker lens, and it is a glorious one. We stopped it down, and everything is the movie, as you've noticed. I'm starring in my own show. It's a toilet cleaning show, and you may be wondering, which Nikon do I get? One of you jabrones actually asked, Z8 or Z6III, and that spurred on this whole thing. So we will answer that and more. So Nikon, I've been waiting for you guys just to make a flippy screen so I could see my damn shot. And it took a long time, but finally in your photo-centric camera, the ZF, you did it. Thank you for almost nothing. It was glorious, glorious machine. In fact, it actually has some advantages in video to this. Scares me to sleep. So if you want the most dynamic range, actually, the ZF might beat this. Why wouldn't it? It's not a partially stacked sensor, whatever the hell that means. That means nothing. The only thing that means is we have way more noise than any other camera from micro four thirds down. That's all I've noticed so far. Because like you're just matching Sony a7S III specs barely, and noisy hell shadows are ours. But if you were just planning on filming this or anything in 4K 24p, I might even lean you towards that ZF. You can actually punch in to check your focus while recording. Mr. Z6III not being able to do that. So like if it was just the image, you might have more dynamic, you do have more dynamic range, but you don't have RAW. I'm not 100% sure what RAW even gets us, but it's not good, but I love it. It's just very noisy. I don't mind it, but you guys always complain about it. So if you can handle the Nikon hate, oh, your shadows are so noisy, then get the Z6III. It's better in a lot of ways, because the ZF only has 4K 60 with a crop, whereas we do 4K 120 with that crop, but 6K 60 no crop, raw, and so much more in the HD 240. That's why I like the ZF. If you're just doing YouTube stuff and you love the brass dials and you love a camera that's way too heavy for its own good and has no grip whatsoever, then you get the ZF and you'll be fine. But like for everyone else, Z6III is better. I sold the ZF for this one and I regret almost nothing. Almost. We're in 6K RAW now, by the way. Huh? I punch in occasionally and you don't even notice the quality loss. So when it comes to the Z6III versus Z8, here's where there's some debates for the Z8, but not many as you would think. If you're only doing wildlife, even then, it's hard to recommend it, because not only is the body heavier, you might not mind because you're already having a heavy glass. You get 4K 120 full frame versus this is cropped. You get 8K 60 full frame instead of 6K 60. So like already you're beating me twice, but you don't for some reason have HD 240. You have HD 120 as well. Makes no sense. You're totally capable of it, but it's almost as if you borrowed a certain hammer. What are you doing? This is dangerous. I'm on rocks. It's a Nikon episode. You can't just show up here. I just bought the C70. It cost me so much money. Best color. I would have brought it here today if I had the adapter. It just hasn't shown up. Another Canon product that I just bought for you. So that's good. Did you notice that your HD 240 doesn't autofocus as fast as it does in 225? Ow! HD 240 is my favorite spec. In fact, I'm already sick of it because it's not HD 480 yet. So it's like, you're removing that and asking me to do wildlife? That's a huge downgrade. And you have no flippy screen, so now I can't also use you as my YouTuber camera. I was buying this just for wildlife, That was my ideal. It was just going to be 600mm locked on there with glue, and I was never going to touch it. But then the red LUTs came out and we saw the cinema. I could not back away from you, Nikon. Make me quit you. I moved. I could sense that you were about to scroll off into another tab of the internet, leaving me in a wasteland. And now I'm in the rule of 1/1. That is good. So like for me, that Z8 is a tough sell. It's way more expensive than this. I have no flippy screen to see myself. You lost HD 240p. And you're expensive and heavy and bullshit. But 8K 60 might be worth it. That might be like the funnest thing ever. And then your 600mm, technically, you punch on in and you have 4K 60 anywhere from like a 600 to 1200 zoom with your prime. That could be fun. But I personally find 6K to be the more usable spec. I don't even want it technically, but it is noticeable. 6K, like the file sizes, they're big, but they're not too big. And so like you're punching on in there, it's like, okay, if I was doing the 8K, I don't think I'd be filming myself like this in 8K, and maybe it's hard to edit, I don't even know. The 6K is okay, but Nikon is good times. There's a lot to love, except the autofocus isn't perfect, but it's better than anything but Sony. It's very good once it gets you. I just took this out with the 85mm Canon lens for street videography, and I missed so many shots, but I got enough moments of glory to where it's like, hot damn, you're not beating that. It was very noisy, but whatever, man. The autofocus, it's not like you're laughing to your friends about it, but it'll get you. No problem, plane. Yeah, it's 6K 60 raw. I'll just wait the 30 seconds for you to pass my airspace. Don't worry about it. Yeah, 14 gigabytes you just cost me. There's a lot I don't love about Nikon, if I'm being honest with you. Just judging exposure, very hard. I can never tell the waveform. It never clips. It never shows that it's clipping. So like no matter how high you go, it's like, that looks like everything's blown out. The waveform's still like, yeah, well, you got plenty of room. It's like you have a blind guy helping you back up. It's like, yeah, keep coming, oh shit. Oh yeah, you should ask someone with sight. I thought I could hear before you made the crash happen. So it's like, I can never judge exposure, and I don't know how to do it. I expose for skin tones usually indoors, and then ends up so noisy. So like I should over, but damn you zebras to hell. And then you can't punch into record, check, focus. It's a sentence in some cultures. So it's like, it's hard to ever know if you're in focus when you're doing manual. There's a lot to hate. The color science is weird, but beautiful. For the most part, it's beautiful. I don't know, man, there's not much else. If you go Sony, you're pure clinical hell. If you go Canon, you're crippled and paying way more. Nikon's a good sweet spot for everything. So it's fantastic. But those are the only 3 cameras I think that you get when you're Nikon. ZF, Z6III, or Z8. The Z9 is like overkill price and size with almost exact same specs as the Z8. I would rather have the Z6III over the Z9. It saves so much money and weight. That's crazy. There's birds. Oh, it's a chickadee. Come land on me. I don't have any food, but just do it. He's not doing it. He can tell I'm lying. But all-arounder best is the Z6III. If you don't want to do fun things in super slow-mo and taste raw for the first time, then okay, back down to the ZF level. But like, Z8 is not really worth, it's a sideways crab step. Oh God, that would be dangerous. There's nothing to... I could still be in the focal plane. You don't know that I'm not, so what do you think? Am I right or what? Sideways move to the Z8 where you lose some stuff. I don't like those upgrades where it's like, oh, this is better, that's better, but these 2 things are worse. And I really loved those 2 things. You're a sack. So, Bitcoin is available to us all. And thank you for watching the video. And you could choose to subscribe for more videos. The file sizes. Oh God. Stop being files.